Princeton's Organization of Student Rights, and today we're going to talk about Princeton students' privacy policies and how academic records are handled at our school. So our school system is built up on the basis of FERPA, which is the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act. Okay, first we'll go over what the law stands for. So it was enforced in 1974, and FERPA's two main purposes are to protect the student's right to the privacy of information and to provide a reasonable guideline for release or disclosure of such information as is required by the federal and state law. And the law applies to all schools that receive funds under an applicable program of the U.S. Department of Education.
The relevant part of the Constitution that pertains to our issues is in the Fourth Amendment, which protects individuals in their persons, homes, papers, and effects from unreasonable searches and seizures by the government.
Princeton may process your personal data in order to comply with legal obligation. For example, to report a concern about your well-being to the appropriate government agency. We may also have to disclose your information to third parties such as the local authorities or law enforcement. We're legally obliged to do so.
We keep your personal data for as long as we need to in order for you to complete your education. If you stop attending Princeton prior to completing your education or apply and do not attend, we will retain your personal data as required for operational and regulatory needs, or in case you want to apply again.
We also want to bring light to a current issue at hand regarding some of the schools. More specifically, the student access in certain schools is limited, and some schools withhold student records so that neither the students or parents have access. Or they can have access for a fee, which is just unfair. So that's why we're actually making this informational video, is to introduce FERPA further and let students know it should be their legal right to have access to academic records without a fee.
Here are two cases where student privacy has come into play. In Gonzaga University versus Roberta S. Lee, the student sued Gonzaga in state court, alleging a violation of the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act of 1974, that's FERPA, which prohibits the federal funding of schools that have a policy or practice of permitting the release of students' education records without their parents' written consent. The student won the case and was awarded money. The court reasoned that the creation of individual rights required clear and unambiguous terms, which FERPA's confidentiality provisions did not contain. Second case, U.S. versus Miami. In this case, it was determined that the media and any other party should not be able to access a student's disciplinary records even under the First Amendment.
2, 3.
We are the Princeton's Organization of Students' Rights.
Thank you for tuning in.